Okay, so this is definitely going to need a part two, but I'm going to talk as fast as I can. This is the Atlanta airport story. So a few years ago, I was traveling to San Francisco. That was my final destination. And I was traveling through Atlanta. Well, I had, I think, like $9,000 in cash on me. And I got on the first plane from Virginia to Atlanta, and nothing happened. And I'm sitting in the Atlanta airport, you know, like waiting for my next flight, talking to my friends, talking to the guy I talked to or whatever, and they call our boarding passes. And as I stand up, the next thing you know, like 5 people stand up with me, and I'm going to the gate, and one of them steps in front of me, and they're like, hello, we work for the airport police department, and we just want to ask you a few questions. And I was like, okay. And so they took me in this car. Okay, so part 2. So they asked me if they can ask me questions, and I haven't done anything wrong, so I'm like, yeah, thinking that they're just gonna ask me them right there. But they take me in this like SUV, and like we drive underneath all the planes, and it's like me and like 5 undercover cops. And I'm like, what is going on? Like, where are you taking me? Like, why? What's the deal? And he was like, well, you have a large amount of cash on you, and we're kind of just curious about what you have going on. And I'm like, it's not that much money. It's $9,000 in cash, and I didn't know that was an issue to like bring or whatever. And he was like, we'll just talk more when we get there. So we drive like, I don't know, like a minute or two to like some office in the airport, but it's not in the airport. And so they sit me down, and he starts questioning me, and he was like, where did you get all this money from? Where are you going? What are you doing? And I'm like, what? Okay, so once I'm in the office, the police officer starts going hella hard, and he's like, where did you get all this money? What are you doing with all this cash? Da-da-da-da-da. Why do you only have a one-way ticket to San Francisco? I'm like, I'm from there. I'm going to hang out. Like, what do you mean? Why do I have to have a return ticket? And he was like, well, you have all this cash, and you're only going to San Francisco, and we're just, you know, we just got tipped off. I'm like, tipped off about what? And he's like, I don't know. That's what we're trying to figure out. And I was like, well, I have nothing to show you. I have nothing to hide. Like, this is my money. And he was like, well, we need to have someone go through your phone. I was like, I'm not going to have someone go through my phone. You are all grown men. I have pictures in my phone. No, thank you. And he was like, okay, well, we have this woman who can come look through your phone. I was like, okay, look, let's do it. Come on. So she comes in, and she's like, and it's just me and her in the room. She's like, I'm so sorry. I don't know why he's doing this to you. Like, we go for people with way bigger money. I don't know what he's doing this to you. So just take my lead. Go through your phone and delete everything that you don't want us to see. And I was like, what? She was like, do it now. And I was like, okay. Okay, so the lady police officer comes in, and she's just like, I don't know why he's doing this. This is ridiculous. Just take my lead. And I'm like, okay. So I forgot to mention in the last video, I told him how I got my money is I sold shoes. So she's like, go through your phone and delete everything that you don't want him to see. And I'm like, okay. So we're literally sitting there going through my phone, and I'm deleting pictures, text messages of, you know, just little things that I wouldn't want police to see. And so she's like, oh, these are the shoes you're talking about that you be selling on, you know, social media that you said. And I was like, oh yeah, these are the shoes. I don't know why I didn't show you earlier. And she was like, oh, okay. And you said you danced? And I'm like, oh yeah, you know, I dance, I strip or whatever. And she's like, oh, okay. And I'm like, matter of fact, you know, I've been on the East Coast up and down seeing all my sugar daddies collecting money for them. I just didn't know how to go about telling y'all that without getting in trouble, you know? Okay, so once the lady was like, follow my lead, I was like, bet. So she asked me if I was a stripper, and I was like, yep, I'm a stripper. I have 5 sugar daddies. I've been collecting their money. I just really didn't know how to say anything because I was nervous and didn't know how you guys were going to respond. She was like, okay, bet. So she goes and tells the little officer man what we talked about. And for everyone saying they needed a warrant, I know they did, but he was just being like hella extra and being like, well, we can wait here all day, or you can just show us your phone. And I know I didn't have anything in my phone, so I was like, bet, you can look at my phone. So once she told him that I had like sugar daddies and all of this, he was like, oh, my apologies, was like super apologetic. And he was like, yeah, you know, we have a whole bunch of people come through here, and we just have to make sure. And I'm like, yeah, okay. So they walk me upstairs and literally buy me a plane ticket to San Francisco. And she comes up to me, and she was like, next time if they ask if they can question you, just say no, and there's nothing we can do.